Hi guys, in this segment I would like us to include an X shape. For an example, if we have this angle is going to be equals to that angle in an X shape. This angle is going to be equals to this angle in an X shape. I'm going to use double lines to show that this angle is equals to that angle. I'm also going to use single lines to show that this angle is equals to that angle. This is how I'm going to differentiate between two angles which are equal. Now, an example is that if I have A there, if I have B, C, and D there, therefore, angle A is equals to angle B. We're going to say the reason is vertically opposite angles. Vertically opposite angles. This is the reason that we are going to give. Also, we're going to say angle D is equals to angle C. We're still going to give the very same reason. Now, we also want to look at adjacent angles on a straight line. And adjacent means that they must be next to each other. Therefore, if I have, for an example, something two arms like that, therefore we're going to have angle A there, angle B, and angle C. Therefore, angle A plus angle B plus angle C is equals to 180 degrees. These angles, when you add them, they must give us 180 degrees. Now, the reason why you're saying this plus this plus this is equals to 180 degrees, it is because sum of angles on a straight line. No need for us to write straight line in full. We can write STR to show that these are angles on a straight line. Now I want us to talk about types of angles. We've got acute angle, which is an angle which is greater than 0 and less than 90 degrees. An acute angle. An obtuse angle is an angle which is greater than 90 but less than 180, which is an obtuse angle. We're also going to talk about the reflex angle, which is an angle which is greater than 180 degrees. We all know the right angle, where two lines are perpendicular to each other. When two lines are perpendicular to each other, then we've got a right angle, which is an angle which is equals to 90 degrees. Now, we also have another angle, which is angle of revolution, which sometimes they call it a round angle. They call it a round angle, which is angle of revolution, or which is called a perigon. A perigon, or an angle of revolution, or a round angle, which is an angle equals to 360 degrees. And let's not forget a straight angle, which is an angle equals to 180 degrees. An angle equals to 180 degrees is what we call a straight angle. Since these angles add up to 180 degrees, we've just seen just now angle A plus angle B plus angle C equals to 180 degrees. Since these angles add up to 180 degrees, it means that these angles are supplementary. By supplementary, it means that they add up to 180 degrees. Now, I want also to include complementary angles. Complementary angles are angles which add up to 90 degrees. Are angles which add up to 90 degrees. If, for an example, I have that, I've got A, B, and C. This is a 90 degrees, as you can see. Therefore, if I add angle A plus angle B plus angle C, they must add up to 90 degrees. And since they add up to 90 degrees, they are not supplementary, because you are only supplementary if you add up to 180 degrees. But if you add up to 90 degrees, then you are complementary angles. Therefore, these angles are complementary. Let's do an example. In this example, we are told to find the value of x with reasons. Now, since we've got adjacent lines on a straight line, we can use what we have just talked about straight lines, but we are now going to name these angles in a very different way. For example, this angle here, we're going to name it C angle O B. C angle O B. It means this is the angle that we are talking about. C angle O B plus. Now we can talk about this angle here, which is B angle OA plus B angle OA plus this angle here, because this angle plus that angle must give us 180 degrees. Now, obviously, we're going to say A angle O D is equals to 180 degrees. Reason, sum of angles on straight line COD. I know the last time we were talking about this, I just talked about sum of angles on a straight line. But since there are going to be many straight lines in our problems, then we need to make sure that we tell exactly which line is that. COD, COD. Therefore, these angles, they are on the straight line COD. Now, after we have done that, now we can look. What is C angle OB? C angle OB is 2x. Plus, what is B angle OA? B angle OA, we said is that angle there, which is 84 degrees. Then we said A angle OB is this angle there, which is plus x, is equals to 180 degrees. We've just substituted what we can see there. Now, these are like terms, we can add them. 2x plus x, we're going to get 3x, which is equals to 84. When it crosses the equal sign, it becomes minus. Therefore, we're going to have 180 minus 84. Now, this is going to be 180 minus 84. Now, 180 minus 84, it gives us 96. Since we're told to solve for x, obviously we must divide by 3 there, divide by 3. X is equals to this 3 will cancel with that. Therefore, 96 divided by 3, we get 32 degrees, which is our solution, x. Let's do another example. Here we are to find the value of A, B, and C with reasons. Now, as I can see here, the value of A, I can see I've got an x here. So there's my x. Therefore, this angle is equals to that angle. But first, we need to write this nicely, where we are going to say G angle O, because this is O there, G angle OH is equals to E angle OJ. Therefore, G angle OH, which is this angle, is equals to E angle OJ, which is this angle there. But obviously, we must give a reason why we're saying that. And we've seen in an X shape, that's where we have vertically opposite angles. No need for us to write vertically in full. We can just say vert opposite angles. Vertically opposite angles are equal. Therefore, what is G angle OH? It's A. A is equals to, what is E angle OJ? 92. We've just got our A value. Now, for us to find the value of B, I can see angle A, 38, and B, they're on a straight line, GOJ. Therefore, these are our, our lines which are adjacent. These are our adjacent lines. Therefore, since we've got adjacent lines in a straight line, GOJ. Therefore, we can use what we know, angles on a straight line. Therefore, we're going to have G angle OH plus H angle OI plus I angle OJ is equals to 180 degrees. We know the reason. Sum of angles on straight line GOJ. Now, G angle OH is 92 degrees plus G angle OI is 38 degrees plus I angle OJ, it's B, which is equals to 180 degrees. Obviously, we can add the 2, which is 92 plus 38. 92 plus 38 is 130. Plus angle B, which is equals to 180 degrees. I showed that it's an angle by using this cap there. But here, this is another way of naming an angle, of which I've just explained before. Now, I can solve for B. Angle B is equals to 180 minus 130 degrees, which is equals to 180 minus 130, which is 50 degrees, our B. Now, we can find C. And C, obviously, there's my X there. There's my X. There's my X. So it means that this angle is equals to this angle. These two angles are vertically opposite angles. And C is equals to this angle, since we've got an X shape. Therefore, this angle is equals to that angle, which are vertically opposite angles. Now, let's find C. We're going to say E angle O F is equals to H angle O I. Reason? Vertically opposite angles. Now, what is E angle O F? It's C, angle C. Angle C is equals to H angle OI is 38 degrees. Therefore, we have found angle A is equals to 92 degrees, angle B is equals to 50 degrees, angle C is equals to 38 degrees. And therefore, as you can see, our angle A is an obtuse angle, which is an angle greater than 90 but less than 180 degrees. Our angle B is an acute angle, which is greater than 0 but less than 90 degrees, which is an acute angle. And our angle C also is an acute angle, which is an angle greater than 0 but less than 90 degrees. Now, here's another example where we must find the value of Z and Y. And in most cases, when they say find the value of Z and Y, it means we must start with the value of Z, then the value of Y. You will see that in most examples, they'll say to us, find the value of X, Y, and Z. So if they say we must find the value of X, Y, and Z, it means that we must first start with the value of X, then value of Y, then finish with the value of Z. So in this particular example, we are told to find the value of Z and Y. So it means that we must start with the value of Z, then we can find the value of Y. Now, this example looks very scary because there are no values here. There are no values here. But in an actual fact, there are values. Let's see that. So this is where we're going to start. And let's not forget, since we've got parallel lines, if we've got parallel lines, we know we think of fun. And when we're thinking of fun, it means that we're going to think of an F shape. We are going to think of a U shape. We are also going to think of a Z shape or an N shape. Therefore, in this case, we can see that we've got parallel lines. Since we've got parallel lines, then we can talk about those shapes that I've just talked about. Now, the first thing that we're going to start at is, I can see that these two angles are equal because this is an X. And if this is an X, therefore this angle is equals to that angle. Therefore we start. N, angle B, P. The red alphabets, they define the lines. The blue alphabets, they define the angles. The red alphabets, they define the line. The blue alphabets, they define the angle. Now, N, angle BP is this angle there, which is equals to M, angle BA. Risen vertically opposite angles. Now, what is N angle BP? It's Z. Angle Z is equals to M angle BA, which is angle Y. So it means that angle Z is equals to angle Y. Now, we can also use the U shape since our 4Z and our Y are in a shape which is U facing that direction. Since we are shown that this line is parallel to this line by using these arrows, you will find that there will be many arrows somewhere. Sometimes they will use one arrow, this arrow, like that and that sometimes. Sometimes they'll use 3 arrows like that to show that, to differentiate between 2 lines which are parallel. But in this case, these are the lines which are parallel. So I can just remove there. These are the lines which are parallel. Therefore, M angle B A plus L angle A B is equals to 180 degrees. Since this is a U shape, our reason is going to be co-interior angles. Why are they co-interior angles? Because this is a U shape. We must not forget, in a U shape, lines must be parallel. Therefore, it means that LQ is parallel to MP. That is why we need to include this to show that they are co-interior angles, since line LQ is parallel to line MP. We need to include that in our reason. Not do you remember the last time we said that? Now, M angle BA is Y. M angle BA is that angle there, which is angle Y, plus L angle AB. L angle AB is this angle there, which is for Z, which is equals to 180 degrees. Now, since here we said Z is equals to Y, so where I see Y here, I'm going to put Z, because these two angles are equal. So I put angle Z there, angle Z plus 4 angle Z, which is equals to 180 degrees. These are like terms. Now, we're going to have 5Z is equals to 180 degrees. We are told to solve for Z. We must divide by 5, divide by 5. In our calculator, it says that 180 divided by 5, which is Z, is equals to 36 degrees. Therefore, since angle Z is equals to angle Y, therefore it means that angle Y is also equals to 36 degrees. We have just solved for Z and Y. Right, here's another example. We are told to find the value of JKL. We know we must start with J, then K, then L. Now, for us to find the value of J, we can see that these two angles are on a straight line. Therefore, S angle Y R. We have said it that these red alphabets, they define the line. We have said it that these blue alphabets, they define the angles. Now, S angle Y R, which is this angle, plus R angle Y R angle Y Z is equals to 180 degrees. Reason, angles, sum of angles on straight line SYV. Now, what is S angle Y R? It's I. And I is 110. Plus, what is R angle Y Z? R was R angle Y Z, which is our J, which is equals to 180 degrees. Now, J is equals to, when this crosses the equal sign, it becomes a minus. Therefore, we're going to have 180 degrees minus 110, which is 70 degrees. Now we've just got our J. Now we can find our K. But it is easy to find K in this case. No need to stress ourselves. We know if we've got two lines which are parallel, we do have a F shape, we do have the U shape, we do have the Z or the N shape. Now, I can see that in our F shape, obviously this F is an F that looks something like that. Therefore, it means that this angle is equals to that angle there. So it means that this angle is equals to that angle there. Therefore, S angle Y R is equals to Y angle Z X. This means that S angle Y R, which is this angle, is equals to Y angle Z X, which is equals to this angle. We know the reason this is an F shape, these angles are corresponding. Even if it didn't write corresponding in full, corresponding angles. And why are they corresponding? We need to include that part, that TR is parallel to UX, not V, UX. Now, what is S angle YR? It is 110 degrees, which is equals to what is Y angle Z, which is K. Therefore, we can just say K is equals to 110 degrees. Now, we can find L. And finding L is also easy as well, because I still have parallel lines, and I can see there, this angle is equals to that angle in an N shape. There, it's something that looks like that. This angle is equals to that angle in our case. Now, obviously, here we're going to say R angle Y Z is equals to U angle Z Y. As you can see, R angle Y Z is this angle there, which is equals to U angle Z Y, which is this angle there. Therefore, reason, obviously our reason here, we're going to say interior alternate angles. Why are they alternating? Because obviously we've just said it, that RT is parallel to UX. Now, what is R angle YZ? It is 70 degrees, which is equals to U angle ZY, it's our L. Therefore, L is equals to 70 degrees. We have just found our JKL using parallel lines. I thank you.